Good evening and welcome to Carolina Classrooms. I'm Dawn Samples. The 121st South Carolina General Assembly's regular session ended earlier this month. What did lawmakers do over the past 6 months that will affect education in our state? Where does the budget stand for the next school year? We'll discuss these and other topics for the next half hour on our last Carolina Classrooms for this school year. Joining me today is State Superintendent of Education, Molly Spearman, Representative Rita Allison, a Republican from Spartanburg, and Senator Gerald Malloy, a Darlington Democrat. Welcome to all of you. We're happy to have you here today. So I guess to get things started off a little bit, Molly, why don't you just update us a little bit on where we are now that you've had several months in office, and just give us a little update on how things are as we wrap up the school year.
Right. Well, it's been a very busy 5 months. We came into office January the 14th, so we've been very, very busy, but doing a lot. The first thing that we were focused on was getting the standards, our new South Carolina College and Career Ready standards in English, Language Arts, and Math. Those were done by our teachers, approved by the State Board, the Education Oversight Committee, after thousands of comments from parents and teachers. And we had every provost at all of our public colleges and universities and the technical schools to sign off on the standards that they were indeed college and career ready. So that was a major accomplishment, and we're moving forward now with professional development for the teachers over the summer on the new standards. We sent our ESEA waiver request on a new accountability system and a teacher evaluation system to the U.S. Department of Education. We're beginning conversations now with them, so we're in the process of training teachers on the new evaluation system, student learning objectives. We may talk a little more in detail about that. We're pleased the legislature helped us out with our budget. The base student cost is up about $100. And that's a good thing. We need to do even more in future years, but we'll work together on that. So that was very good. And we're making some changes on things that I have learned from talking with teachers and district level folks and parents on anything that's kind of non-common sense. In certification rules, the legislature again has helped us to straighten out some of those things if you want to talk in detail a little more, but it will make it easier now for secondary teachers in a content area to go down and be able to teach in middle school. Now we have some additional things we want to do in the next year's legislative session, so we've accomplished a lot. There's certainly a lot more that we have to do, but it's been a good year, and we have a great working relationship with these folks. The leadership in House and Senate and the members are all very, very supportive, and so it's been a good year, good 5 months.
I know it's been a busy start for you.
It has.
You hit the ground running. You mentioned that there are some PD available, some professional learning available this summer. Can you tell me a little bit about what that might look like for teachers?
Well, we're rolling out 2 different professional development sessions, one on the new standards, and then also we have to train all 57,000 teachers in a new teacher evaluation system. So we're using a train-the-trainer model, and the folks from the department, we're working with folks at the University of South Carolina as well to go out and train district level folks who will then train their own house people. So that's already started. I'm hearing really good feedback to any of the teachers in the audience or principals. So I would just say, just know that this next year we understand that this is a huge change. We're taking the old ADEPT teacher evaluation system, and now you're having to add a student learning progress or student progress addition to that. So there are many ways to do that, and as long as you can get one of those going this year, we'll be satisfied, and then we'll work together on the multiple measures during next year.
And one thing I think might be good to note is that the measures are of student growth.
Right.
Correct. So it's not achievement
right.
necessarily.
And that should help teachers feel a little more comfortable, because it's about where you get the student and then how far you can take that student. So sometimes our lower students, you really can make more progress if you really are working and focusing on with that personalized learning. So hopefully it's going to work out. It's been a lot of anxiety, but I think it's going to go well.
That's good. I know that's been a big question mark for a lot of teachers, so it's good to hear what the plan is.
And then the other big thing that we did, of course, was the new testing with the 3 through 8 Aspire and the ACT and Work Keys. That all went reasonably well. I think everyone feels better about it after having done it one time. There was a lot of concern about the time testing for the younger students, and we're currently sending out a new RFP, or request for proposals, because we have to do that over, and we don't know which tests we'll be using next year, but again, we'll be doing professional development on that just as soon as we have that down.
Okay, and I understand that you've been taking input from
We have.
the public
That ended
for that.
on June 17th. And so we had a lot of input from parents, teachers, community folks, business leaders. So the RFP is out now, and we should be closing that and meeting with the prospective vendors to make sure that everyone can compete for that proposal.
That's good. I'm sure you got a lot of good feedback for that. One other question I wanted to ask you about that's been a real hot topic for teachers is about the Read to Succeed initiative. Can you talk to us just a little bit
Well,
about
the
that?
legislature was very kind to us. We asked for some more time when we came into office because the state reading plan was due in February, but they agreed to give us a little more time because it really needed more input from the field. We had that plan, the State Board of Education, just in their June meeting adopted it. So we will be working now with the districts to give them that information as each district now writes their own reading plan over the next year. A lot of professional development. We want to make it not too restrictive so that those teachers and districts that are already doing a good job can do it their way, and we want to give good guidance to those who are not. So it's been expanded, and we're getting very, very good feedback from the new plan.
Great, thank you. I know Representative Allison and Senator Malloy, as Molly was just sharing with us, she's been working a lot with you all and getting these initiatives underway. Do you all have an update of some of the things that perhaps you addressed during the legislative session this year?
Well, one of the wonderful things to me was this is my first year as chair of the House Education and Public Works Committee, and to have a new superintendent to work with and a new Speaker of the House to work with, and they are very, as you've already seen, vested in our education, public education of the state. One of the first things that the new Speaker did was he appointed a committee to address the court case that we are facing concerning the plaintiff districts here in our state. And not just to answer the court case, but because we know that it's the right thing to do. And making it the right thing to do has been a priority. We have a committee that is made up of educators as well as people from the plaintiff districts, legislators. Our superintendent sits on that committee, and we have been busy working. We've met in 2 of the plaintiff districts, Abbeville as well as Dillon, and we've also had in-house hearings where people could come in and talk about the needs and all. And we've been very informed about the things that are bubbling up concerning our plaintiff districts and how we can work together to fix the things that are going on there. The wonderful thing about it is that those things, while we all know that education takes money, we also know that there's a lot of other factors to do. We're going to be looking at the transportation, we're going to be looking at the infrastructure in our plaintiff districts and looking about deferred maintenance, renovations, those capital outlay needs that they do to make a good, safe, working environment, not only for our students, but our teachers and our communities. Besides that, teacher retention, teacher development in those areas. One of the wonderful things that we found out is right at Francis Marion University, there's a wonderful curriculum that talks about development for teachers who are working with children in poverty. We feel that every teacher in that area needs to have that additional. Being able to work with early childhood, very important. A good foundation from birth to 4K, getting them ready for school and making sure that they've got that foundation to build on. And then the other thing that is bubbling up is the fact that not only the State Department of Education, but all other education partners adopted a profile for the student this year. And that profile is everything about being ready for school, getting through K through 12. Not only that, but being ready for career and also for college. We want all of our young people to bring about their own quality of life. So those are some of the things that have been bubbling up in our committee. That is really great. I'm also sitting on a committee that is working jointly with the House and the Senate to talk about our early childhood program in the state. We've got some wonderful things going on in our districts across the state, but this state is only going to be as strong as its weakest links, and those weak links, we can help bring them about great quality early childhood. So we've been working with them on our First Steps program, the governance of that kind of thing and all, along with all the legislation that we have been looking to budget-wise and all to bring some quality and equity into the state of South Carolina for our education.
Do you have any idea of perhaps what timeline these districts might be able to expect maybe some of the recommendations from the committee to come forward?
Well, I think we've already begun. Well, the House Education Committee has been working very closely with our superintendent to look at our after-school programs, the quality of our after-school programs. We have a lot of wonderful organizations and entity from faith-based, Boys and Girls Club, youth groups, YMCAs that are doing great after-school programs. Superintendent Spearman has brought all of that group together to make sure that we mesh those wonderful opportunities and that they are very quality opportunities for our young people. Those kind of things that we are working on. We're very invested in not only supporting but also financing and continuing to support our education and economic development that has already begun, and a lot of our districts out there are doing a wonderful job with that, and we want to supply the support that is needed for our EEDA, education and economic development, that has happened early on, but we want to make sure that that continues to flourish.
Well, it's certainly good to see you all working together.
We are, and I should have
Great.
mentioned that. The legislature actually, we went to them with a request because, as Representative Allison said, we have a lot of great after-school programs and some summer learning opportunities, but there was a lack of coordination. So they have given us, hopefully when the budget passes, we will have a new office at the Department of Education to coordinate all of those activities. So there's some good things ahead.
That's wonderful. Well, Senator Malloy, could you maybe talk a little bit, I know that Representative Allison mentioned a little bit about the budget. What are some things that we can maybe anticipate for this next school year?
Well, first of all, it's good to be here. It's good to share on this stage with our superintendent and the chairman of the Education Committee in the House. Congratulations to you all for getting an all-star cast and also to invite me. I would first say that that there is a cooperative and collaborative approach that Superintendent Spearman has brought to this. She has worked with the legislature very well in putting the ideas forward and getting feedback from everyone to try to put together what is needed in the Department of Education. I think that approach is going to serve us well. It's interesting now to be talking about the budget and not be talking about roads, which seems to have occupied us for the entire session. But the superintendent mentioned, first of all, that we did increase the base student cost by $100, and it goes up to $22.20. But in essence, that's over $90 million in the state budget. And so that's an incredible feat, and it's still not to the point where it needs to be or where she would like for it to be, and I would like for it to be as well. But we also, I'll just give you some numbers pretty quickly. And so understanding that the budget is still a work in progress, and the numbers that I'm giving is from the Senate budget that sort of took the amounts up, I think, a little bit in some regards. So there's $2.9 million for virtual education. And every time when we say something, they may be able to expound on that a little bit later.
If I may just
Sure.
say this, you mentioned virtual education. We actually, in 10 days, We had 17,000 students sign up to take a summer course this year in our summer virtual program. So we needed to have asked for more, but we
Right.
appreciate your help. But
Absolutely.
it far exceeded our expectations.
And you know, one of the things that bubbled up in the plaintiff districts too is what an opportunity for the virtual to help us with AP courses and many things that are not being offered right now in those areas. Will be a great opportunity for that.
And that's just the way things are going now, and you can see that requests are out there. So we got to meet the needs of what's going on with the public. And then I move forward. There's $5.4 million for the summer reading camps, and this is what we were talking about earlier. And I guess Superintendent Spearman would end up talking about the success of the reading program now.
Right. Well, it went well last year. We have full implementation this year, and what we're trying to do, Senator, is to coordinate. We have a summer feeding program, we have the summer reading program, we have summer camp. So we're encouraging people to put all of those together, and I'm pleased to announce that we increased our summer feeding, which is 2 meals a day plus 4 hours of activity, by 400% this year over the number of programs we had last year. So there's, again, a lot of good work going on.
And what you will recall is that last year when we passed the Read to Succeed, basically we expanded the 4-year-old kindergarten and went down to 70%. And so we are probably around 25,000 students that are eligible now, and probably over 60 some odd of the districts are participating now.
Right, that's correct.
And let's see, 11.8 million for the public charter school district.
Right.
Right.
And then another 17 million in capital reserve fund for buses, 11 million in lottery for buses, for an additional 333 buses. And obviously we have to continue to replenish our fleet. And lastly, I mentioned there's $3 million in combination from the general and lottery funds to for the aid to county libraries to increase the per capita allocation from $1.25 to $1.50. And so those are just some high points on the budget. And obviously, as you know, we're still working. We don't have a completed budget yet because of the conference committee. We have a supplemental appropriation bill. We have a capital reserve bill. So we got 3 avenues for pots of money that we got to end up coming back and mashing. We anticipate that we'll have a continuing resolution that will come before the body next week, so we can make certain that we can cure the fears that this is not Washington. Government's not going to shut down, that we're going to be able to end up making certain that we can continue. And I think that we'll put that together next week. But just keep in mind is that we had to pause because it's a real critical issue on the roads. But I think that the education budget is pretty much intact, and that's what we'll see going forward.
Yeah, I think that's
There was agreement, pretty well overall agreement. A few extra dollars were available, but the House and Senate for the past few years have been working very closely and try to work out the disagreements and come with a very similar budget for education. So we appreciate that.
I know one thing I want to go back to when you were talking about the summer reading, and there's been some discussion from a lot of districts about maybe moving to year-round school. You were talking about the summer programs with the meals, the feeding programs. What is on the table regarding that? I know that districts, I think, have the option if they were to choose to do year-round school.
True.
But is this something that the state is looking at?
Well, I'll go ahead. It's up to each local district. Some have tried it and some like it. It depends on the community. I think you really do have to have the buy-in. It's what best suits the needs of that community. Certainly the system that we have was built back up. We were talking earlier, I remember in school, it was built because I lived out in Saluda County where kids had to bale hay and haul in hay in the summer.
We live on farms.
And but that's changed. And so I think you'll see more communities going to that. But my concern is not just taking the 180 days and stretching it out over a calendar year, but that our children who are at risk need more time on task. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the formal go inside a school building. I think what we're learning now is that there's so many things that they can learn in an authentic learning, informal opportunity. It might be swimming lessons or cooking classes or just having fun in the outdoors in the summertime. It needs to be organized. So I'm really pushing that all of our children who are at risk will have some type of high quality summer learning fun opportunity. And our goal this year, which we accomplished, was that all of our lowest 5% performing schools, that those opportunities would be there for those students. And we were able to accomplish that. We're going to have a bigger goal, a bigger number next year, but I think that is so important because the research shows students lose so much over the summer months if they're
Right.
not nurtured. And there are families that go on wonderful vacations and summer camps, and there are other children who are just home doing nothing or
Right.
watching the TV. And so we're really working on this, and it's going to take everybody together. It's going to take the faith community working with us, businesses working with us, because we certainly can't do all this by ourselves in education, but the volunteers are out there, and we're just trying to get everybody organized so we can offer this all across the state.
That's wonderful. And it also seems like there might also be some virtual opportunities down the road as well.
Yeah. So the quality, the virtual school, what it brings to us now is a way to deliver high quality instruction in places and at times when it hasn't been available before. So as I said, we have over 17,000 students taking a course through virtually this summer. And really it's good for them just to do that, to have that experience, and then they go back to school. So I was just thrilled. We anticipated about 14,000. That was a 30% growth over last summer, but it far exceeded what we had planned for.
Yeah, and I would expect that to continue to grow.
Right. I think what is happening now is that what the superintendent was just saying is that we can already do it. I think the greater question is going to be is that will we ever increase to 180 days?
Yeah.
And I think that then is whenever we're going to start trying to change that. And that's going to take a lot of discussion from a lot of stakeholders.
Right.
Well, it does, and I think that brings up many years, and this year we had very pieces of legislation that talked about our start date.
Right.
And that comes up every year.
Right.
And I know that the superintendent is looking at an avenue that we can look at that has to do with our testing, a testing window. Can it be 2, 3, 4 week window so that if you start early, you have a test early, that kind of thing. The secret part, I think, to this year is there's a breath of fresh air blowing through because people seem to be coming together and working together on the problems. And it's not about we can't do that, but it's about how are we going to do that and what will work best for this state and the students in this state. And I feel good about that.
Well, that's certainly exciting to hear too, to know that if everyone's sort of on the same page and working together, I think great things can happen.
Sure.
And I know that there's also possibly the option of some of the PD, I think we had talked about earlier, maybe being offered virtually down the road as well.
Yes, we're working, and really we're working with ETV right now in filming some professional development that can be delivered virtually. So we're taking advantage of all the great things that are offered here at ETV and in our districts. And I think that's the other thing I'd like to say that I missed during my first 5 months. We really got a lot to be proud of. And we don't talk about that enough. We do have significant challenges, but there are so many wonderful things happening in schools, not just in the urban areas, but out in those rural areas too. So I've enjoyed going out, seeing that. We're trying to connect those schools and the folks who don't know about it through Transform South Carolina, and we're adding a portion of that innovation now at the Department of Education after July 1, another thing that they've helped us fund. So we will have a person going just in their prime job will be go find the good things that are happening and match it up with the people that are ready to move forward.
That's exciting, and it'll be good for us to be able to show other states
Sure.
what we are doing, because we are doing some amazing things in South Carolina.
We are.
I'd like to just take a moment to thank you all for joining us today. I really appreciate you being here, and I know that the parents and teachers and administrators and community members out there appreciate the time that you've taken to maybe share a little bit about what is happening that we have to be proud of out there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for having us.
We hope you've enjoyed tonight's program. As I said before, this is our last Carolina Classrooms for this school year. We'll be back in September with more episodes, so please check our website for dates and topics at www.scetv.org/Carolina Classrooms. If you have any comments, questions, or would like to propose a topic for us to cover, you can email us at carolinaclassrooms@scetv.org. For everyone at ETV, I'm Dawn Samples. Thank you for watching. Good night.